If you had to grade it on a scale of 1 to 10?
So I think the meeting was a 10 in the sense that we got along great, and it's good when, two big powers get along.
All right, folks, so Donald Trump is desperately trying to spin his abject failure and global humiliation at the Alaska summit with Vladimir Putin. Earlier in the day, Trump admitted he would not be happy if he walked away without a ceasefire. Well, he did walk away without a ceasefire. So by Trump's own terms, this was an abject failure. And so he went on Fox News to try to spin it, and it didn't exactly work. It came off desperate. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. Yeah, so the best Trump can do is say, well, it's a 10 in the sense that, we met and we got along. Buddy, nobody had any doubts whatsoever that you all were going to get along because you kissed Putin's ass like it's, I don't know, that you have an appetite for it. Like it's just like, it's almost like a fetish at this point. But I want to remind you, as Trump was heading to Alaska, this is what he told Fox News. He said it explicitly. If he walks away without a ceasefire, he won't be happy. It'll be a failure.
So when you talk about deals, it's all I do. My whole life I do deals. You never know. You don't like to have too many expectations. I won't be happy if I walk away without some form of a ceasefire.
He walked away without a ceasefire. By Trump's own standard, his meeting in Alaska with Putin was objectively a failure. Anybody who tells you otherwise is a fucking liar or a fucking moron. And we have to be clear about this. When Trump sets the standard, and he speaks in exaggerated terms all the time, he always uses superlative, right? It's the best ever, the greatest ever. You have to grade him on that standard. You would grade any politician by the standard they set for themselves. When they make a promise and they break it, you hold them accountable. Don't treat Trump any different. And when you look at it through that lens of Trump failing spectacularly, so badly, as we discussed in a video yesterday, that even Fox News reporters like Brett Baer and Jackie Heinrich, who were there in Alaska, were like, oh my God, Trump got steamrolled. It gives this fluff piece with Hannity a whole new context. So let's play some of the clips from this interview.
End that war would be very good, and I was very happy to hear him say if I was president, that war would have never happened.
Mr. President, that was my next question. He said at the joint press conference that and you have said this many, many times, and he confirmed for the world today, that if you were president, this wouldn't have happened. Did any of the specifics come up as to why he said that?
It did. It doesn't matter at this point, but
probably because when Putin went to invade Ukraine in the first place, Trump wouldn't have helped them out. This is so funny. Trump's line that, if I'd been president, Putin would have never invaded. Why would we assume that? My first question is, did Vladimir Putin want to invade Russia or want to invade Ukraine? The answer is yes. He obviously wanted to invade Ukraine, which is why he did. Did he want Donald Trump to be president? Yes, he did. So if he wanted Trump to be president and he wanted to invade Ukraine, why would Trump be an obstacle to Putin's invasion of Ukraine? Well, unless Putin is lying about Trump being an obstacle, I would never have invaded if you were president. The only way to really reconcile this is if, because Putin would be confident he could get things from Trump that would not necessitate an invasion. That's it. This idea that Trump would simultaneously oppose Vladimir Putin's goals and Putin wanted Trump to be president, they're mutually exclusive. This whole notion, this whole line of bullshit doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If Putin really believed that Trump would be an obstacle to things Putin wanted him to do, then Putin wouldn't want Trump to be president and wouldn't be happy about dealing with him. And yet he's confirmed both of those things twice.
By far, there's nothing even close. But we had a very good meeting today, and I think a lot of points were negotiated on behalf of Ukraine and on behalf of the whole NATO situation, where we're dealing very well with a lot of foreign countries that are great, European countries. Look, as far as I'm concerned, there's no deal until there's a deal. But we did make a lot of progress.
There is no deal. There's no ceasefire. It's the thing. This thing was an abject failure. Trump promised that he would end this in 24 hours. It's been 207 24 hours, 207 days of the Trump administration. No ceasefire, no deal. Pretty pathetic.
Yeah. In your press conference, you talked about a lot of things that you agreed on, and maybe one big issue you don't agree on. Are you prepared to go public with that?
No, I'd rather not. I guess somebody's going to go public with it. They'll figure it out. But no, I don't want to do that. I want to see if we can get it done. You know, it's not a done deal at all. And Ukraine has to agree. I mean, you know, President Zelensky has to agree. But it's a terrible war where he's losing a lot, and both of them are. And hopefully it can get completed. That'll be a great achievement for them. Forget about me, for them. And
there you have it. Trump says forget about him. So if somewhere down the road, Putin and Zelensky make a peace deal, don't give Trump the credit, because clearly Trump doing the summit didn't really amount to anything by Trump's own standards. There's no deal. There's no ceasefire. It was a failure. And it would be a great accomplishment for Putin and Zelensky to make a deal.
And it was very extensive. And we agreed on a lot of points. I mean, a lot of points were agreed on. But there's not that much. There's, you know, one or two pretty significant items, but I think they can be reached. Now it's really up to President Zelensky to get it done. And I would also say the European nations, they have to get involved a little bit. But it's up to President Zelensky. I think we are, and if they'd like, I'll be at that next meeting. They're going to set up a meeting now between President Zelensky and President Putin. And myself, I guess, you know, I didn't ask you about it. Not that I want to be there, but I want to make sure it gets done. And we have a pretty good chance of getting it done.
So you see how he moves the goalpost? He was going to get it done in 24 hours. He was going to solve this single-handedly because the art of the deal, the great negotiator. Now he's saying it's up to Zelensky to secure a deal because he, Trump, failed. It's up to the European Union leaders and European leaders in general to get it done because he, Trump, failed. Trump gets no credit for any upcoming peace deal when he is saying, yeah, well, I talked with Putin. I didn't get a ceasefire, didn't get a deal. I guess Zelensky's going to have to take care of it. I guess, Keir Starmer in the United Kingdom, Emmanuel Macron in France, I think they're going to be the ones who have to deal with it. What the hell was this? What the hell was this summit other than a global humiliation for Trump?
I use the power of the United States. We have got the greatest economy now in the world. We have trillions, not billions, trillions of dollars or millions. We have trillions of dollars pouring into our coffers. I'm getting calls from people in government saying, where did I get the $29 billion from? I said, why don't you try the tariff shelf? And, you know, we have, as an example, the European nations, we made a great deal. They pay us literally trillions of dollars. Japan, so many. And you know what? They like us better. They respect us.
Number one, they don't respect you more. Number two, he's lying about that. This idea, Japan has actually publicly confirmed that we're not paying you trillions of dollars. And many of the commitments that both the European Union and Japan have made, they have no ability to enforce. They're like, yeah, we're going to try to get it done, but we can't mandate it. So it's like vapor in the wind, these commitments. And if Biden were touting these sorts of accomplishments, Trump would be like, where's the check? Where's the actual money? And this is the problem. Trump constantly grades himself on a curve, and he's hoping you do too. It's total bullshit.
Family.
Well, how many countries now have you made trade deals with, and how much is it incoming?
Many of them, and well, basically all of them, because I made along with some great people, as you know them very well. They're on your show, but I made. I would say 12 or 13 of the big ones. In other words, we made the big deals, and the rest we just assigned a tariff to.
Which is not what he promised. He promised 90 deals in 90 days, 90 bilateral trade deals in 90 days. It was going to be the ultimate demonstration of the art of the deal, right? Just like negotiating a peace in 24 hours with Ukraine and Russia, peace between Israel and Hamas. All of that was going to be done in 24 hours, and then the 90 deals in 90 days. Except he's about 89 off. The only trade deal that I'm aware of that, and it may not even have ink on paper, is the trade deal with the United Kingdom. There's no trade deal with China. The trade deal with the European Union is still being negotiated. And so Trump moved the goalpost as the days ticked away. And he's like, well, really when you think about it, sure, a deal could be a bilateral trade deal, but isn't a deal also a unilateral tariff imposition? No, asshole, it's not. That's just a tariff. That's not a deal. That's a tariff. So Trump, again, is hoping that you grade him on a curve. You shouldn't.
I was with also the King of Saudi Arabia, the head of Qatar, the head of UAE about 3 months ago now already. The time flies. And they put up $5.1 trillion investment in our country. And we have about $17 trillion coming into our country, numbers like we've never seen before. And
because those numbers aren't real. The GDP of the United States is about $30 trillion. So he's saying actually in one year, we're going to get more than half of our annual GDP in trade deals. No documentation to substantiate it. No concrete moves to substantiate it. He's just throwing out numbers. It's pathetic.
What would your advice, based on today, when you talk to Vladimir Zelensky, what's your advice to...
make a deal.
Make the deal.
Got to make a deal, yeah. Look, Russia's a very big power. And they're not. They're great soldiers, and they have great, but, you know, they also had the best equipment. You know, they had our equipment. And I gave them javelins, if you remember, in my first term. In fact, there was a statement, I gave javelins. You remember the statement? I gave javelins, and Obama gave, because it was Obama at that time, Obama gave them sheets. And that's true. I gave javelins, and a lot of tanks were knocked out because...
In Donald Trump's first term, there was congressionally approved aid for Javelin missiles, which are really important. And then Trump actually held that aid up. You may recall, this was the predicate for his first impeachment, because he wanted Zelensky to open an investigation in Ukraine against Burisma, Ukrainian energy company, on whose board sat Hunter Biden, the son of Joe Biden. So Trump had anticipated that Joe Biden would probably be his opponent, his Democratic opponent in the 2020 election. And so he withheld those crucial Javelin missiles from Zelensky in order to pressure Zelensky to investigate the son of a former vice president who may or may not have been Trump's political opponent, who ultimately became that way. So it was extortion. It was the predicate for the first impeachment. Trump is hoping, I hope people remember how good I was to Ukraine. It's like, listen, buddy, you totally shit the bed on that. You're no real ally of Ukraine. Now, of course, Ukraine is forced to deal with you because you're the president, so they have to kiss your ass. But yeah, this idea that Donald Trump has been a strong ally of Ukraine is bullshit. And again, I'll also note what he said at the deal at the beginning. He says Zelensky's going to have to make the deal. What's your advice to Zelensky when he meets with Putin? Make the deal. I thought you were going to make the deal.
I didn't like looking. I was very sad to watch and see.
When you talked before coming here about the consequences for Vladimir Putin being severe, I found that interesting. Severe would be defined by me. India doesn't buy your oil. The European Union won't buy it. And why in the back of my head was I thinking, wait a minute, Donald Trump just delayed a possible increase in tariffs on China. Why do I think that probably President Trump was thinking ahead that maybe if you had to, that would have been part of the consequences?
Well, because of what happened today, I think I don't have to think about that. Now, I may have to think about it in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something, but we don't have to think about that right now. I think the meeting went very well.
Well, there was no deal. There was no ceasefire. By your own definition, it was a failure. The meeting did not go well. I mean, look at him, just visibly defeated. Fox News, with the exception of Sean Hannity, calling him out for this embarrassment. And he's once again backing away from imposing any sort of sanctions on Russia, escalate the severe consequences. So, folks, this was just a total disaster. It was a total disaster. And this attempt by Trump to spin his failure into some sort of success, it's not going to land well. I mean, the clips are out there. You have Fox reporters publicly calling him out for how pathetic and defeated he looked. And again, we should hold him to his standards. He promised a deal in 24 hours. He failed. Abject failure, objective failure, one of the worst foreign policy failures in American history. He touted this summit deal. He said that, hey, listen, if I walk away without a ceasefire, I won't be happy. You failed to get a ceasefire, so this is a failure. And any attempt after the fact to spin it is also a failure. And people should make fun of him accordingly. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.